The worst performance review is with surprises. Because if someone hears the truth for the first time in a review is not the real problem. It means something failed earlier. And here the reason can be the expectations that were not clear, or feedback came too late, or you didn't address the block. And maybe your manager waited too long, or the system made it easier to document performance than to actually improve it. That is where I want to start, because many organizations, they have already moved from beyond the old annual appraisal mindset. They now have regular check-ins, continuous feedback, even 360 reviews. Development conversations are going on as well. It means more touch points, more data, and more conversations, at least in theory. And that is progress, but there is still a hidden problem. More frequent performance activity doesn't always mean better performance. Sometimes it only means we are documenting more often. For example, form is updated, the check-in is logged, the feedback is summarized. System shows activity, but the question we should ask is, did the work improve while it was happening? That's the part that matters. Why? Because performance management should not only help an organization and review performance. It should help people perform better before the review is needed. I myself have seen this in HR work. The farm is rarely the real issue. The real issue is what didn't happen before the farm. The honest conversation that was delayed. The standard you assumed but didn't explain. Even the pattern everyone noticed but nobody named. And the feedback that became too polite to useful. The manager who wanted to support the person but didn't have the rhythm or confidence to do it early enough. That is the real performance workflow. So let's look at the current workflow. In many organizations, performance management looks organized. We set goals, check-ins happen, feedback is collected, progress is reviewed, and also development areas are discussed. Sometimes there are ratings are being added, and in some cases, reward is connected. Now here, the problem is sometimes a performance improvement conversation happens when things have already gone too far. And then the review becomes the place where everyone tries to make sense of what should have been handled earlier. That is the gap. Now, when AI enters in this system, the added version of performance management is easy to imagine here. It has draft review comments, it summarizes feedback, it even suggests goals. It turns messy notes into polished languages. It helps managers save time. Useful, but it may still be improving the old workflow. But if the real conversation didn't happen when it mattered, AI is only helping document the delay. That is not performance development. That is, you can say, better packaging around the problem the workflow should have caught earlier. This is where organizations need to be careful, because performance management is not supposed to be a memory exercise. It's not supposed to be managers trying to remember what happened months ago, or writing tasks where everyone tries to make feedback sound balanced. It is supposed to help people do better work. And better work happens in the work, when the standard needs to be explained, when the work is still moving and can still be improved. That is the window. If the system only catches the issue after the work has already suffered, the system is leaked. So instead asking, can AI write better performance reviews? Also ask, can the workflow help performance improve while the work is happening? That is a different conversation. If we look at an AI native performance workflow, it will not start with a review form. It will start with the work itself, where in helping expectations become clearer earlier, to help managers notice blockers before they become patterns. It would make feedback easier to give while it is still useful. It would connect development to real work, not just to generic action plan. It would help the organization see where the same issue keeps repeating across our team. And it would also help managers to get prepared for conversations otherwise they may avoid, not by replacing the manager, by supporting the manager. That distinction matters, because performance is not only data, it is judgment, context, trust and fairness. And it is the relationship between the person doing the work and the person responsible for guiding that work. And here we also need to make sure that AI can support that workflow, but it cannot own that relationship. If AI summarizes feedback, someone still has to decide whether the feedback is fair. If it suggests a goal, someone still has to check whether the goal matches the work. If AI finds a pattern, there should be someone still need to understand the context behind it. If IT drafts the review, someone still owns the message. That is where performance management becomes workflow design. Because without clear ownership, AI can make the process look more advanced, while accountability becomes blurry. And performance is already sensitive, we know that. People care deeply about whether the system is fair, yes? And whether the process is helping them to grow or just recording them. That's the reason managers sit at the center of the issue here. HR can design the process, technology can make parts of it easier, of course. AI can reduce admin for you, but the employee experiences performance management through the manager. The manager clarifies expectations. He's the one who notices when work is blocked, is there to give feedback. He decides whether to address the hard thing delayed. And at this stage, if managers are overloaded, unsupported, or are they uncomfortable with feedback, the system may look better, but it is not. It must be a continuous improvement. Here, more check-ins, more summaries, more review cycles are there, but it doesn't mean it's better performance. The real shift is from reviewing performance to developing performance. From documenting what happened to improving what is happening. That is the opportunity. And this connects directly to culture. How? Because culture is what an organization rewards, tolerates, and repeats. And performance management is one of the systems that teaches people exactly that. Is not it? If the organization rewards output but ignores how the work gets done, people learn that. If vague goals are tolerated, people learn that too. People notice that feedback comes late, or managers they are avoiding difficult conversations, or if development is promised but not supported inside the work. And if you here add AI, it's not going to automatically change all those patterns. It may help repeat them faster. That is how confusion gets automated. So when I think about AI in performance management, I'm not thinking first about better review comments. I'm thinking about a better workflow. A workflow where expectations are clear before performance is judged. Where feedback happens close enough to the work that matters. Where blockers are noticed early. And managers are supported to have better conversations. And where development is connected to real work. AI supports the process, but humans still own the judgment. That is where Agentic AI Workflow Design matters. Design matters. The output is not a smarter review form. The output is clearer performance workflow. Because performance management shouldn't wait for the review for you to, that implies, be developed. By the time the review happens, the most important moments may have already passed, and we know that. So the point of this episode is simple. Do not use AI to write cleaner reviews. Workflow should have been spotted earlier. Do not just automate documentation while performance is still being left to chance. And performance management future is not just a better review form. It's going to be a workflow that helps people perform better while the work is still happening. In the next episode, I want to go deeper into managers, because if there is one place where unclear workflows show up fast, it is manager role. They are often expected to chase, approve, fix, and hold the work together manually. But managers shouldn't become the process. That is where we go next.